Welcome, welcome. Ziggy1X here with another Nier reincarnation video. And before I dive into this, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the new subscribers who've come on. I picked up about a dozen in the last week. For me, that's a big deal because I'm up to now over 40 subscribers. Maybe I'll do something special at 100 subscribers. Who knows? Maybe I'll draw a picture or something. I actually do enjoy artwork and drawing, so maybe that'll be a thing that happens. Anyways, so I wanted to dive in real quickly here after saying thanks. And again, thank you. Really appreciate the support. Appreciate the comments and the feedback. And yeah, sticking with me and just being patient with my own schedule. I'm not entirely consistent, but I do try and get videos whenever the spirit takes me and the passion takes me, and I just decide that maybe I want to comment on something. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So with no further ado, this is a two-part video. First of all, a correction of some bad information I've given in the past, and also a thought on what we're going to be doing with our advanced handbooks and what the future of the awakening materials will be. I have commented on this briefly in some of my other videos, and I just want to focus on just that for this video so that we can dive right into it. So let's take a look at some things here real quickly. First of all, this is my first mistake. If we look over here at, that was a long press. If we look over here at Lavania, who is currently the character that I'm awakening, one of the things that I've been saying is that I was just running off the assumption of a 4-star costume that the max awakening stats for the +4 awakening would be 30%. I'm actually wrong in this. If you click on this guy right here, you'll see that the max stats for an EX costume are actually 20%. So this is just something that I caught when I was preparing for this video. It's good to know. So let's go back out of here. You're not getting quite as much out of your EX characters, but you're also getting their, and it makes sense. The EX character stats are already pretty darn good, but you're also getting those as a free handout every time you complete an event. So since it's a handout, the stats are not going to be as high. It makes sense. And the EX costumes are great still. So I'm not terribly worried about this, but it just does mean that you're not getting quite as much out of those EX costumes. And it means that the gacha costumes are going to be power creeping the EX costumes in one way, shape, or form. We may see, probably will see some kind of an enhancement like what they've been doing with some of the older costumes applied to the awakening costumes to keep everything sort of balanced and relevant, and they have been doing a very good job with that. There are a lot of old costumes that came into play recently that really weren't as relevant, but between their upgraded abilities and the awakenings, these costumes are now seeing more play in arena, more competitive settings. So let's back out of this guy real quickly here. So for the EX costumes, we got 20%. Now let's go down to our standard 4-star costume, and we go over here to the awakening. We check our stats up, and we're seeing 30% here. So 20% for EX, 30% for standard 4-star. I actually do not have any of the Abyssal Mirror characters, so I don't know what those stats look like. But if anybody does have an Abyssal Mirror character and wants to check what those awakening stats look like, feel free to just shoot it in the comments, and I'm guessing it'll be the same as the standard 4-stars, but the Abyssal Mirror characters are kind of their own thing. They're limited, so I'm not sure how that'll work out actually. They may be 40%, maybe 30%, maybe 20%. I don't think it'll be 20, but it may be 30 or 40. That's where my guess is on that. So let's back out of this guy real quickly. So we got 30% for the standard 4-star. Now, one of the reasons why we're seeing such a big power bump with the 3-star costumes, let's bump on down here to our favorite Griff, Mr. McGriff. And we were looking at his attack before. 6,700 is an impressive stat for any character, but for a 3-star, that's very impressive. If we go over here and we look at the stats up, it is 60% up. Okay, so now we're seeing 20%, 30%, 60%. Seeing a trend here yet? Back out of this guy. Now let's go down to our standard 2-star costumes. Go over here to Lania because I've got him maxed out. 75%. So you'll see that these stats are not on par with each other. There is still a distinct difference for the most part between the 2-star, the 3-star, the 4-star costumes. And so this is just worth noting. Now let's back out of this guy real quickly here and take a look at my advanced handbooks. So let's go over here, Let's just do this guy because I like seeing it in this view because I could do this. Boop. Okay, so you see down here, we are at 76 Advanced Handbooks. I have not used any of these since the announced Awakenings. And there may be a bit of a shyness on my part to pull the trigger on just which character to use it on, but I shouldn't be quite as reserved. And what I probably should be thinking of is how I'm going to be using these on my more limited characters. So you see that I've been saving these guys. Now, the 28th of every month is Nier Day in this game. And so what does that mean? Well, that means that we before had Nier Day banners, which were 10K total gems, 2K per step, and every step you got 2 Advanced Handbooks. So by the end of it, you had 5 steps, 10K pay or 10K free gems, and you had 10 more Advanced Handbooks, which was enough to get your character awakened 1 more step. Now, before Awakenings, that was enough. Awakenings now add that little bit of power creep in there, which is just, again, it's that FOMO, that fear of missing out. And it's probably what I'm suffering from here, and one of the reasons why I haven't used my own Advanced Handbooks on my characters. So what does this mean for Nier Day? And I believe they're calling it the, what are they, the monthly step-up banners? I think they changed it now. And so that's a great way to get a hold of a lot of units, because every month on the 28th, there is a free pull. The first step of those steps is a free 10 pull, which is fantastic. And then the next 2 steps are steeply discounted at 2,000 gems, just like the Nier Day banners were. And then the last 2 steps are 3,000, so the standard pull, but the rates for the 4-star units and weapons are doubled. So we're getting a little bit of a compromise there. We're also getting some of the skip tickets, some of the Shards of Zenith Brilliance, and a few other things along the way. The formula of this is going to probably remain the same moving forward. Some of the items may change from month to month, but that's generally what we should be expecting. Now, what I'm getting out of that, though, is that because the Advanced Handbooks took such a, in my opinion, took such a step down in value because of the Awakenings. They really did. For me, at least, they took a big hit. That doesn't mean I'm still not going to chase them whenever they're available. They're incredibly useful to have. But I am much more where I used to be of the mind that the Advanced Handbooks were arguably the most valuable item in this game. Now I'm much more in the camp of the Black Pearls being the most valuable item in the game until something changes. And so let's go back to our characters here real quickly. By the way, the companions that we've been getting from the Playful Seas event, don't pass these guys up. I looked at the one that we just got, the pod companion, except it looks like a pirate ship. It's pretty cool. That sucker gives, I believe, minus 40% attack to the enemy for 60 seconds. That is significant, especially with some of the harder content we've been seeing. That is more powerful than a heal, because, I mean, the enemy's doing about half the damage. So if you have that paired with another character that's throwing out the weapon ability, or you have a Demios who's also dropping the attack that way, you can be stacking these things up, and you can have a enemy with significantly reduced attack, which is going to be increasingly more valuable since we're going to be playing much more heavily into the elemental weaknesses of these enemies and the elemental strengths of our own team. So food for thought. And this is another reason why I think that the Dark Memory costumes are so darn valuable, because each of them come with an innate 25% elemental resistance, and then their debris gives another 5, bringing them up to a total of plus 30. It's a good package for that. So let's go back over here real quickly. Where was I at? Okay, so we got some of my own characters here. Now, I was originally, when I wanted to dump Advanced Handbooks into a character, I've just got this thing, I'm a completionist. I wanted to max them out, so I would save up my Advanced Handbooks till I had enough to max out the character. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but that's the way I would do it. So let's look over here. We've got our Bloody Captive, who has been honestly an MVP in so many of these tower events. I've used her now in every single tower event, but you can see I've still got her at level 70. Now, I can bump her up and give her a Whirlwind Rush, which is a good ability, but not a great ability. There's also other characters that I could bump up here that may be a little bit more useful. Maybe this Noelle here. Oh, there's a Void Rush there. She's kind of a quasi-hybrid tank. She was before Lars came out as an actual dedicated defense unit with tanking abilities. But there's other characters here that I have in my repertoire. Actually, Lacrimia Captive. This is an interesting one. And she is a good support unit for subjugation. So maybe this is a character that I would want to at least take to level 75 so that I could unlock her second ability. These are things that we can start thinking about with our advanced handbooks, which characters we're going to be using and which characters. I think it's going to be more towards the support side of things. But this takes me to my next point. So I've got my own woes to deal with in my own account, which characters to level up. And I probably should just level up 2P. I don't know why I've sat on her for so long, even without Awakening. She's a darn powerful unit. So yeah, food for thought. Now let's jump over here. There's a precedence being set by our EX characters. Now, if we go over here to, actually, I did not do that right. So let's back over here. Let's go to our characters. Let's go to our EX Lavania. Okay, Awakening. So these Dark Awakening stones here, this is what I'm thinking about. And this is why I think that there's a precedence already in this game for generic Awakening stones to be handed out that can be applied to either all characters or just limited characters. Maybe there will be something as we get reruns of events, and time will tell. And my guess would be that the next rerun of an event, of a past event that we've had, we just had, or we're currently in Drakengard. So what was the next event after this? We've done Nier Automata. We've done, we may be jumping back into Nier Automata after this, after the anniversary. There were rumors and rumblings over on the Japanese side of a new collaboration coming. I'm not going to talk about here because I don't want to spoil any surprises for anyone. If you want to go look for it, go look for it. It's out there. But there are rumblings of a new collaboration coming. Again, I'm not entirely sure how deep I want to go into these collaborations. Even if I absolutely love the collaboration, it's just maybe some casual pulls and maybe I get lucky. But getting back to what I was saying, there's a precedence being set here with the Dark Awakening Stone. What I'm thinking is that when the next collaboration comes around, it'll either vindicate me or make me a liar. I think we're going to be getting at least one material like this that we can use to awaken one of our limited characters. And it may be just a limited character for that collaboration. It may be all limited characters, or it may just be a generic stone that you can use to awaken any 4-star character. That is my prediction, because as it stands right now, they have to do something to show the players that they are willing to, at least at the very minimum, slowly disseminate and trickle out these generic stones, much like they did with the Advanced Handbooks. Again, there is a precedence for these things set by the EX characters, set by other generic materials that we already have in the game. These will come. I'm 99% sure of it, but how soon will they come is the question. My original thoughts were maybe a couple months down the road. The more I think about it, the more I think, no, these will probably show up with the next limited collaboration, because the developers are going to want to show that there's still a value to the whales in whaling out and getting as many duplicate copies as possible. But there's also a little something that the casual, more free-to-play or minnows who don't spend all that often are going to get, that they can put into those limited units and maybe sink in towards the debris, the really good debris, or to put towards those limited units that they really took a shine to. So that's my prediction on this. Those are my thoughts on the Advanced Handbooks. They're still valuable. They're still good for getting those characters that second ability, that little power bump if you need it. I see it again more for the supporting characters that need those extra abilities. Maybe I'll start using 2P at some point here soon. Maybe I'll max level my 9S. I don't know. But it's just a thought. Now, let's get into the news that actually did officially come out. And we're going to jump over to Yonder YouTube. This is going to be a YouTube and YouTube video. This is so meta right now. Those are my thoughts on that, though. So before we leave, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh, yeah, there's going to be maintenance in 2 days. So today's the 12th when I'm recording this. So on the 14th, I believe at 2 p.m. Pacific to 6 p.m. And so for my East Coast time, that is, 5 to 9. So there will be no play going on then. So that's probably going to be prepping us for today's Tuesday, so Thursday. So that's going to be prepping us for a content drop on Friday. I suspect that what I'm about to show you here is going to be that content drop. I'm very excited about it. Costume looks cool. Character looks cool. Let's jump on over to YouTube and find out more.
国を治める存在として、民の未来を追う者として、私には責任がある。失敗など許されない。私は。
All right, so is this an AI? This has to do. Hold on. That's a cool looking costume. So this is something else. Now remember, this story took place half and half in the virtual world and in the real world. A lot of the interactions we were seeing, a lot of the magic from the pop star, from the idol, I guess should be called, were taking place in the digital world. And so maybe this is something going on digitally. I don't know. Let's back up. It does say no signal. I don't know. It feels kind of digitally, but yeah, that enemy, she looked like she was interacting with did look digital. I don't know. Maybe again, this is taking place in that kind of mix between the two. I love it. I love that they went there. And this guy right here, I haven't tried the fish yet. And I hear that's very challenging. So if we're getting another one of those in the cage bosses that you can run into, that's kind of cool. 15th is the maintenance. The 15th is when we're getting the content drop. As I said before, this is where we're going into and getting the second or 2 more EX characters. Now we're going to have to grind out their individual shards for their chunks, whatever they are. What are these things called? These guys right down here. What are these guys called? The recalling light, that's right. So we're gonna have to farm out a whole bunch of these guys, even someone like me who's got pretty much all of the zenith that they need to just jump in and max it. You're still gonna need the recalling light to do that. And I don't have all the zenith, I've got 11, so I still am lacking 2. But that's about it. I would say that there's not a whole lot more to go into, just some thoughts, just a random video. I think that we still are we're gonna see pretty soon. I think that we're gonna be getting the anniversary next week as well. And we're probably gonna get a rerun of all those old anniversary costumes. Again, I'd love to pull a dupe copy of my Gale or a couple dupe copies and my Demos, and we'll see what happens. So hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. Random thoughts. And again, thank you for the support, and I hope I continue getting a few subscribers. And hey, if I cross 100 subscribers, maybe I'll do something special. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a good night. Bye.